That's fine.
Okay, so we are live. Here we are. We are 6 minutes late for our 2 o'clock appointment with the fabulous and lovely Tarisha. Tarisha, thank you so much for being here with us. Thank you so much for taking part. And yeah, it's fabulous that you're with us now. I'm just going to say we had 1 or 2 technical glitches. We were hoping to, Tarisha has a PowerPoint, so we were hoping to show you the PowerPoint as she speaks, but it didn't want to work. So, Tarisha, we're going to have Tarisha's wonderful face without the PowerPoint. And Tarisha's really going to take you through a fabulous session. You want to be engaging in this, really about our values and how our values impact or can impact and are so critical to our relationship and our dating and our dating journey, if you like. So, Tarisha, I am going to leave you here. I will take note of any questions that we have coming through. We've already got some people coming on live now. I'll hold the questions for you, and I'll jump back on with you towards the end. So I'm going to leave everybody in your capable hands, and I'm actually looking forward to this. So I'm going to be making notes as well. Okay, so you're on your own.
Let's do this. Hello, everybody. Tarisha Young here, Relationship Master Coach. And firstly, I want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your weekend, your Saturday, to join me here on this workshop, interactive Q&A type session, which is all about warning. Abandoning your values can block your dating and relationship success. So as Mandy said, I was hoping to go through a PowerPoint, but it's not worked, the technology. So I have it printed out. So if you see me looking down, it's because I'm looking at the PowerPoint just to make sure that I'm in flow, to make sure I don't go off track, and so that you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. So why are we here? Well, my guess, and I'm not a mind reader, but I am guessing that you are here because you want to gain a top insight into how to achieve dating and relationship success. Well, my goal is to help you to understand that. My goal is to let you know that there is no time better than now to help you to have the diamond-dazzling love life that you truly desire and deserve. And I am here to show you how you can achieve this right now, because it's all about you achieving something and attracting something very special for you. It's all about you attracting something that is the most ideal relationship, the most ideal partner that is right for you. Because let me tell you, the price of staying stuck and staying the same is far greater than actually moving forward. So, who am I? And what do I do? And why do I do this? So, as I introduce myself, I am an accredited and certified relationship master coach, also known as the confidence restyler. And I guide and empower individuals and couples who are seeking to improve upon and increase their levels of happiness, optimism, satisfaction, so that they can have the fullness of love, life, and relationships of all kinds that they truly desire and deserve. And that's not just romantic relationships, that's friendships, that's professional relationships, that's family, that's acquaintances as well, whatever capacity that might be for you. And I truly believe that in order to have healthy, fulfilling, diamond-dazzling relationships, the relationship first starts with yourself. It starts with you knowing, loving, and trusting yourself, as that sets the tone for the relationship you have now or will have in the future, and also for your dating experience. Now, I have over 15 years of developing, coaching, supporting, mentoring people of all natures. I have a HR professional background as well. I do one-to-one coaching, I do couple coaching, I do workshops in order to help people to truly deepen that connection that they have with themselves and with other people, and to build that self-confidence, that self-love, that self-trust. And many of my articles have been published in places such as the International Coaching News. We've got TUT, which is done by Mike Dooley, for you who know him. There's Thrive Global, and I'm also sought after regarding public speaking events as well, and radio shows and live events. So I like to think that I am well versed when it comes to what I do. But like many people, I have had my fair share of setbacks in dating and relationships. So I'll just explain to you 2 of those so that I don't keep you all day. And also, this isn't about me, but let me tell you a little bit about where I've come from. So growing up, I was the eldest of 4 children, and I witnessed a very dysfunctional relationship between my parents, whereby my dad was emotionally, physically, mentally abusive to my mum. There was a lot of domestic violence that took place. He had an addiction to drugs and also was alcohol dependent. So there was a lot that took place, and lots of stuff that happened whereby he led by fear and intimidation. Now, I'm not saying this was on a daily basis, but certainly for a fundamental part of me growing up. However, after 30 years of my mum witnessing this and being subject to this, she realised that she just couldn't take no more. My dad was not going to change. So she had to do something about it. She had to change her ways. And I understand why she stayed in that relationship. There's many reasons why people stay in a relationship. But after 30 years, she said no more. And she called the relationship to an end. And that gave me great insight as to what a dysfunctional relationship looks like. And that you don't have to stay stuck there. It may take some time, but then you can move forward. When it came to my own personal love life situation, when I'd finally decided to give love a go, despite what I had seen throughout the years through my parents' relationships, other people's relationships, I had one of the biggest heartbreaks of my life. I was in a long-term relationship, and my partner decided to call it to an end, just a bolt out of the blue. I did not see this coming. Of course, you have your little lovers' tiffs and so forth, but nothing as fundamental, I thought, to bring the relationship to an end. So much so that it completely knocked me off my feet. And I went into the darkest, deepest depression of my life. I started to generalize. All men are the same. I know, I think most of us have been here, but it was a huge unfair generalization. I now know. But that's what I felt. That's what I had witnessed. That's what I had experienced. And it was 2008 when this relationship came to an end, that I was so in this dark place that I just didn't want to be here anymore. I felt hopeless. I felt helpless, that I attempted suicide. And it didn't work because, quite clearly, I'm not a fruition. I'm here. It didn't work, thank goodness for that. And I lived to tell the tale. But it was in my darkest moment that I found my brightest light. And I said, I cannot be here anymore. I need to do something about this. And I did seek professional help. I went to my doctors, to my GP, and I undertook a course of CBT, which is cognitive behavioural therapy. And I also started to do a lot of self-development to help shift myself to a better place, because I decided that I was not going to stay stuck there. I was going to have a diamond-dazzling relationship with myself. I was going to empower myself to live life differently. I was not going to be a victim of life. I was going to be a victor of life. So throughout all of my years of being skilled in coaching, I really started to delve more into it and thought, so how can I learn and teach other people and educate other people what I have learned? Because the CBT philosophy really helped to move me. It helped me to understand my thoughts, my feelings, and my emotions. It led me to start having some of the most beautiful, diamond-dazzling, healthy, fulfilling relationships across all boards of my life. And I said, I'm going to teach people about this. I'm going to help people and guide people so that they can have exactly the same. So much so that I became a first-time mummy back in 2017 to my amazing, wonderful daughter, who I now want to be a source of inspiration so that she can live her best life, so that she can have the fullest of love, life, and relationships too. And that's why I'm here and what I do. And I'm so deeply passionate about it. And my clients and everyone I talk to have such tremendous results through the moments that we share together on that working relationship. So that is enough about me. But why are you here today? What is so important about values that can affect your dating and your relationship success? Well, you know, I'm going to keep it real with you. I have had my fair share of mistakes, quote unquote mistakes. I've done a lot of things right, a lot of things wrong, kissed a lot of frogs, but all of those were learnings, discoveries, and experiences so that I could finally see what it takes to have a diamond-dazzling, healthy, fulfilling relationship. So here is the big discovery. Regardless of what you've tried, it is impossible impossible to attract and sustain your ideal love life if you are not crystal clear on what you really desire in love and your relationships. And that really starts with you understanding yourself, which sometimes isn't very easy to do if you've not spent much time doing that. But what if you could enhance your awareness, recognition, and appreciation of your true, authentic self? What if you could deepen the understanding of the connection that you need to have to attract your ideal partner? Well, I am about to share with you one of the top insights that a lot of people are blind to, but you're not going to be blind to it anymore, because there is a number one problem staring you in the face every single day. Because I hear you, I see you, I actually really feel you, because I've been there. You're probably tired of feeling single. You're probably tired of going on lots of dating experiences that just aren't working out, and you have invested so much of your time and your energy into it. You probably have deep-rooted relationship wounds that are preventing you from connecting deeply with somebody else. But you see, that's the thing about connection. Everything in life starts with connection. And this includes the relationship that you have with yourself and the relationship that you have with your ideal partner. Now, a true connection starts when you can have that heart-to-heart connection with somebody else. So in order to have that heart-to-heart connection with an ideal partner, the connection first starts with yourself. It really does. And sometimes we don't think that. We sometimes put all of the greatness and the responsibility on somebody else. But the responsibility starts with you. It starts with you being at peace with yourself. It starts with you knowing yourself, loving yourself, trusting yourself, by understanding more about who you are becoming, being that person now. Why are you here? What is your purpose? That is where the deep connection starts, because the romantic life actually starts with yourself. Because when you can fall deeply in love and romance your life, romance yourself, you would then start to see that you naturally start attracting more romantic experiences into your life. It's worked for me, and it's worked for my clients as well. The connection first starts with yourself. And a lot of it starts with your gut instincts. Have you ever had that moment when you thought, something just doesn't feel right, something's off here, but then we choose to ignore the red flags? We choose to say, oh, nah, no, it will happen, in time and whatnot. But you have to really start listening to yourself and knowing and loving and trusting yourself. You have to start building the relationship from the inside out. It really is an inside job. And some of you may have heard that. It's not dependent upon external factors at all, as to, I will be happy when I meet my ideal partner. I will feel love when I'm able to give love to somebody else. I will be successful when. No, that success, that love, that happiness begins with you. So if you want to attract a partner who you feel loved for by, cared for by, that you feel respected by, you first have to exhibit those values for yourself. You have to be living those values for yourself. And when you do that, you'll be able to attract more of those loving, healthy, sustainable, meaningful relationships. And that dating experience will become so, so magical. I hope that is making sense so far. And if you have any questions, this is an interactive session, by the way, so please do drop them into the comment section and I will answer them along the way. You don't necessarily have to hold them up until the end, but do let me know if that is making sense to you, everything that I've spoken about so far. So the question is, do you know your values? There's a huge question about what exactly are values and why are they important? Well, values are what you hold to be important, and they actually drive your behavior. They are deeply held beliefs and principles at a very unconscious level about what is right and what is wrong to you. Now, when you have a better understanding about your values, it really empowers you in order to make better decisions, to know what is truly important to you, and to incorporate that into your decision making, into your way of life. It helps you to recognize what feels good to you and to do more of that. Now, your values may actually be very different in different contexts of your life. Your relationship values may be completely different to your career values, to your health values, to your spiritual values, to your friends and family values, to your leisure values. They may be completely different. But your core values are core values that are important to you, and they run across all aspects. That they are the core values that are concurrent in your relationship, in your health, in your spirituality, in your friendships, all of it. That's where your core values lie. Now, here's what it is. When you can share the same core values as your ideal partner, it can lead to greater compatibility and also sustaining a healthy, fulfilling, diamond-dazzling relationship. So it's so important that you understand what your core values are, because this can help you to therefore understand what you are seeking in your ideal partner. And sometimes we just don't sit down. When I first discovered what values were, I was like, oh, I didn't actually label it values. But when you can sit down and discover what your core values are, you can actually start to live them and be very intentional about living them and bring them to a conscious level so that you can attract your ideal love life situation. So take a moment to think about what your top 10 core values are. Now, values can be something along the lines of love, it could be loyalty. And remember, these are values that you hold for yourself. Well, firstly, start thinking about yourself, because the relationship first starts with yourself, remember? So, what are your core values? Are you about love? What are you all about? Are you about kindness? Are you about loyalty? Are you about respect? Are you about optimism, honesty? It could be having patience. It could be positivity. Sit down, and if you have got a pen and paper right now, write down 10 of your core values. And these are core values, remember, that run across all boards, and not just in your relationship. These are core values that run in your health, that run in your spirituality, if that's it, that run with your family and friends, your core values. Okay, these are deep in your core. Now, after you have done those three, and please feel free to share them in the chat if you are open to and feel happy to do so. Now, from those 10 core values, choose your top 3. Now, really spend some time thinking about what your top 3 values are, because these will be the 3 values that you really want to incorporate very intentionally while you are starting to practice values on a daily basis. You may even want to set up your day to say, okay, today I am going to work on the value of love. So what 3 things perhaps can I do for myself today that is going to show love? What 3 things can I do for myself, for other people as well, that are going to show that value of love? Now, for me, some of my core values are love, understanding, kindness, compassion, loyalty. And I ensure that on a daily basis that I am showing those values to myself and also to other people. So have a think about it and ask yourself why. Because there's so much meaning and power behind the word because. There's a term that you might have heard, your why will make you fly. Your why is your key motivator. Why is love your motivator? Why is love your value? Why is compassion one of your values? Have you got experiences and references to show why that's important to you? It does take some deep work, but in order to have a deep connection with somebody else, you do have to deepen the connection that you have with yourself first. So remember, the topic of today's session is warning, warning. Are you actually abandoning your values? Are you abandoning your values? Because that can block your dating and your relationship success. Think back to a previous dating experience or relationship experience that you've had. Can you recall any circumstances where you can sit back now and say, aha, yeah, I abandoned my value of love. Aha, yeah, I abandoned my value of respect. Because I know I have. I have been in situations where I was so invested and so focused on giving love, on giving compassion, on giving understanding, kindness, loyalty to somebody else, that it made me be blinded to all of the red flag about that person's behavior. It made me think, oh, but they've got potential. Never fall in love with somebody's potential. Okay. Know how they are showing up for you now. Are they actually walking their talk? Are they showing steps to show what they want to be or what they are becoming? Because if not, you have got exactly who they are now. And there's that saying, you either put up or shut up. So you put up and shut up, or you do something about it. Now, the thing is, I want to empower you to be able to do something about that, for you to feel inspired and to know that you don't have to put up and shut up with somebody's behavior. If that person's energy, if that person's presence is not serving you, sometimes we do really have to make a judgment call and to have maybe a discussion with that person, to tell that person how you feel, to give examples to that person of why you may be feeling that way, to make them understand that one of your key values is not being shared right now, to show them that you're not feeling respected, to tell them that you're not feeling respected, to tell them that you're not feeling loved and the reasons why you're not feeling loved. Give clear examples. Because, as I said, I've been there before. I really have been there before. But we do need to make sure that we are understanding what our core values are and we are not abandoning them for the sake of others. And that we are also, even if we are receiving that love from somebody else, even if we are receiving that care and that respect from somebody else, to make sure that we are still giving it to ourselves. We can give it to somebody else. We can receive it. We also have to give it to ourselves too. So if you have not had a chance to come up with your top 10 core values in this session now, I would strongly encourage you to sit down afterwards and to write down what your top core values are, your top 10 core values, and then to streamline them down to your top 3. And let that be your focus for at least 30 days. Go out there and see if you can live those values for at least 30 days. You may choose one, you may choose to challenge yourself and do all 3. Now, there are many philosophies out there as to how long it takes to form a habit. Some people say it takes 21 days. Some people say it takes 30 days, 60 days. I recently heard that it can take 63 days in order to instill a habit. So 3 21-day cycles. So just do it every single day, basically. So it becomes second nature, just like brushing your teeth, which I hope you do every single day, twice a day, or even more. So have a think about that. Really ask yourself, have you been abandoning your values and how you can stop doing it? Now, the next thing for you to help you have that dating success is to infuse your values into your top deal breakers. Now, what is a deal breaker? Some of you may know, some of you may not. Now, a deal breaker is a certain thing like a personality trait. It could be a character trait. It could be a physical trait, or it could be a habit or so forth that makes you want to call the relationship or dating experience off. It's those moments when you think, nah, I'm not feeling you anymore, or I'm not feeling what you just said. I don't feel what you do. These are deal breakers. So think to yourself, when you are in that dating experience, what are your top deal breakers? What does the other person have to do, have to be behaving, have to be showing you in order to make it work? Now, this is where your deal breakers become powered up. This is how you give more leverage to your deal breakers. You infuse your values into your deal breakers. So, for example, if one of your deal breakers that you want somebody to be able to go out and show kindness to other people and to themselves and to you, what you can do is to infuse your value of kindness into that deal breaker. So when you are out on a dinner date, for example, and you're in a lovely restaurant, see, witness, observe how your date is showing kindness to you. Do they open a door for you? Do they pull the chair out? Or do they let the door shut in your face? Boom. Do they sit down and not even pull your chair out first? Some of these things are kind of old school manners, but it may be important to you. It may be one of your values. Now, really witness and observe what they are doing. Are they being kind and polite to the person who is serving you? Are they being kind and polite to other people in the restaurant? Are they moaning? Are they groaning? Are you thinking, well, one of my deal breakers is I don't want a complainer. I don't want a moaner. I don't want a pessimist. Therefore, make sure that you are incorporating your value into that and seeing how they are exhibiting kindness in that. So really be intentional about your deal breakers. Now, I wouldn't suggest that you go on a date with your top 10 core values there, ticking it off. That's a lot of pressure on yourself and also on the other person, because you don't want them to know that's what you're doing. You have to be kind of like Columbo here. Just do it quite sneakily and very, very intentionally about it. So yeah, it's not about going with your top 10 core values and ticking them off. Maybe choose your top 3 and seeing how that person performs. Go and prepare with some questions. Now, remember, it's not a job interview. You're meant to be having fun. Relationship and dating is about having fun. But maybe go with some questions that you can ask to see how that person, to see whether that person has that same value as you. And then maybe as you progress through the dating experience, you'll then start to infuse another core value into that dating experience. Ask some more questions. Maybe you'll go to a different place. Let's say one of your core values is having fun. Perhaps your next date might be going to do something that you find fun. Now, it's important, I think, when it comes to relationships, and this is what I find with my clients as well, that you can have shared experiences and shared interests. Now, we aren't always going to have the same hobbies, the same interest. But if there's a few interests that you can share with your ideal partner, then at least it can make it fun. It can make it different. It can make it exhilarating. You can plan activities that you can share together. Now, there may be times when you do something that you don't necessarily enjoy, but you make a compromise, because that's what relationships are about compromise and also cooperation. So to think about that as well, is one of your values about having shared interests with somebody, then do things whereby when you're on that dating experience where you can share that value together. It's going to be really, really interesting, but that's how you can really incorporate your values into your dating experience. And that will help you to rule out and say, okay, that person hasn't showed any signs of kindness, so it's not for me. And it will take discipline. It will take willpower, especially if you've been on the dating game for a while. We don't want you settling. We don't want you saying, okay, well, perhaps next time. Okay, maybe you'll have a second date with that person. If on that second date, that person is still showing the same behavior that they showed on the first date that you weren't feeling, then it's about time you are very open and honest with yourself and say, who am I? Am I devaluing myself by staying in this relationship, by staying in this dating experience? Because by doing that, you are actually eliminating all of the other opportunities that you have to be dating somebody else. Because there are plenty of people. There are people say, look, there's plenty of fish in the sea. It depends upon where you're looking, isn't it? But at the end of the day, you want to make sure that it's the quality. It's not about quantity. It's about the quality experiences. Because remember, you are so high grade. You don't want no low graded relationships. Okay, so really take a moment to think about what your values are. Now, your values are often supported by your beliefs. And beliefs are such a broad topic. I could be here all day long talking about beliefs, and we don't have all day long because we are on the One Summit, and there's loads of other sessions for you to be tuning into, which are going to be absolutely amazing. But I will talk briefly about benefits. So our values are often backed up by our beliefs, and our beliefs can change over time, and sometimes our beliefs no longer support our values. And it's really important to understand whether your beliefs about dating and relationships, whether they are an asset or whether they are a liability. Now, you will find that your belief system is an actual liability if it stops you from moving on in the dating and relationship world. If you find that you are not attracting some of the dating experiences and the people into your life, it could be because you are holding some form of limiting belief, some form of resistance. And resistance can stop you and can actually restrict you from attracting a relationship and all that you want in your life. And sometimes we don't even realize that we have this running within us. Now, the reason why we have belief systems can stem back from childhood. It really can. It can stem back from what we see as we grow up, from children, from our parents' relationships, what we learn in school, our social interactions. It could be from what we see on the news, what we hear, observe. Then we start to model people's behaviors and start to absorb and take on those beliefs. We even gain new beliefs in our adulthood, and they really can actually impact on our values and distract us from our values. So it's important that we understand what we are saying to ourselves and what we are believing about ourselves in our dating and relationship experiences. The thing about beliefs is that they are often backed up by references and experiences. So, for example, if you feel that you aren't a good enough partner, you probably have lots of references to back that up, lots of evidence to back up why you're not a good partner. One of your limiting beliefs may be that you cannot hold or sustain a long-term relationship. You probably have lots of references and evidence to show the reason why. One of your limiting beliefs may be that you always get cheated on. You probably got loads of experiences, or maybe not even loads, but a few, maybe even one experience to back that up, to affirm that belief in you. And the important thing to know is that we do have these limiting beliefs, and it's okay that we had them, because we cannot beat ourselves up about it. But what we can do is to find ways to overcome our limiting beliefs, because our beliefs are backed up by so many different references. But you do have it in it to change your belief system. You absolutely do. So you have a choice to interpret any situation in your love, your life, and your relationships. To think back to some of the positive experiences that you have had, because when you seek, you shall find, believe me. Now, if you have been in a dating experience, perhaps there might have been one occasion where it wasn't a great dating experience. But what about the other great experiences that you have had? What about in your relationship? Perhaps you had a situation where one of your relationships wasn't great, or you had a situation where you had a major falling out with your ideal partner or the person that you were in a relationship with, and you just feel completely upset by that. But there might have been some wonderful experiences that you also shared. So where you put your attention is so important, and it's about rewiring your thoughts and focusing on some of the more positive experiences that you have had, because that will bring more positive experiences to you. So are you wondering about how you can overcome limiting beliefs in order to attract dating and relationship success? Because you may be thinking, oh, you make a point. I do have a limiting belief when it comes to this. Oh, I do feel that way. But I don't want to be there anymore. I don't want to think that way. I want to start attracting more healthy, fulfilling, sustainable dating experiences, relationship experiences, more meaningful connections. Because every thought you have has an impact. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you believe. What do you really believe about your love life and your dating experiences? What limiting beliefs do you have that are preventing you from having dating success? What limiting beliefs do you have that are stopping you from moving from the dating experience into a long-term, healthy, diamond-dazzling, fulfilling relationship? Take a moment to really think about it. And you are more than welcome to share that in the chat here as well. If you think, aha, yeah, I have that. I can have a session with you now, if you so wish, to talk about how we can unpack that limiting belief that you have. So do definitely drop it in, but take a moment to really think about it. Because the great thing is that you can rewire the way that you think, you feel, you believe about your dating experiences. You can actually really overcome your limiting beliefs. Now, one thing that I do with my clients in order to help them to overcome their limiting beliefs is 3 steps. And these are the Diamond-Dazzling Ds. I got a little diamond there for you because you are a diamond-dazzling person and you are going to have diamond-dazzling beliefs when you follow these 3 steps. So what exactly are the 3 Ds? Okay, what are the Diamond-Dazzling Ds? So yes, as I said it, they all start with the letter D. Now, the first step is deliberate awareness. You have to start getting very deliberate about your current love life and dating circumstance. You have to be completely honest with yourself and ask yourself, is your dating and your relationship experiences a reflection of you not living your values? Is your dating experience, is your relationship experience a reflection of your limiting belief system? Really take stock of that, because it could intentionally be that. What do you actually truly believe at your core about relationships, about dating? How far back does it stem? Now, a technique that can also help you to be very deliberately aware is to ask yourself why. I previously mentioned that your why can be a motivator. It can help you to go forward. Your why will make you fly. Your why can also help you to deep delve into some of your values and your belief systems and how you could be blocking the success of your dating and relationships by not living it. So ask yourself why you think that way and ask yourself why 5 times. It's called the 5 whys. Why do I believe that? Okay. So why do I feel that way? Okay. So why? And ask yourself why 5 times. That is a really great way. Then you have to do the second step, which is the second D, which is decision. Make a decision to change your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, your behaviors, to change your belief systems so that you can actually manifest and have more healthy, empowering ones. Now, in order for you to make a decision on which beliefs to drop, which thoughts to drop, it could be helpful for you to do a SWOT analysis. Now, what is a SWOT analysis? Now, SWOT analysis is often used in business terms, but it stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. Now, sit back and really think about your belief system. Name one of those beliefs that you have. It could be a limiting belief. Now, what is the strength of having that belief? What has it been protecting you from? Usually there's a payoff, a secondary gain that there is for holding on to our limiting beliefs. What is the strength of it? What is the weakness of having that limiting belief? What is the opportunity of having that limiting belief? What is the threat of having that limiting belief? Now, this is quite a useful analysis to do, because when you do that, if you find that you could, oh, there's so many weaknesses of having this limiting belief, there's so many threats of having this limiting belief, this is when you can say, now I have to do the third step, the third D, which is do it, do it, do it, do it. Do something about it. Find ways in order to navigate your thoughts so that you have better feeling thoughts, that you have better belief systems. Now, that could be a bit of self-development. That could be actually reaching out for help. It could be going through coaching or some other form of therapy. It could be psychotherapy. It could be counseling. It could be cognitive behavioral therapy, whatever that might be. It could be just reaching out for help, support. Find ways to do it, to change the way that you feel about it. So just to recap, the 3 Ds are deliberate awareness, decision, do it. Now, I love this quote by Tony Robbins, where he says that in your moments of decision, that your destiny is shaped. You have everything in you to live your values. Now that you are aware of what your values are, now that you have taken time to sit down and understand what your values are, you can be very intentional about incorporating that into your dating experience, into your relationship experience. You can be very intentional about ensuring that you are not abandoning your values for the sake of another person. Even if that person is showing you that value, giving you love, giving you care, giving you respect, giving you kindness, but you still do that for yourself. It's an inside job, remember, building the relationship from the inside out. And when you can do that, when you really can make this as part of your daily experience, you can connect more deeply and more fully with yourself. When you take charge of your values and your beliefs, believe me, because I've been there, it's worked for me. It's worked for my clients as well. You will then start to maximize the opportunities that you have for dating success. You will start to maximize the opportunities you have for relationship success. Values are so important. They should not be abandoned for any reason whatsoever. And you have these values. You probably just haven't spent much time thinking about them or even labeling them values. But empower yourself to incorporate them into your love, your life, and your relationships on a daily basis. So to further help you with your dating and your relationship success, I strongly believe in affirmations. And some of you may be aware of affirmations. Some of you may not be aware of affirmations. But affirmations are very positive statements that you repeat to yourself very regularly, and I would say on a daily basis, can help you to feel so much empowered. If you are feeling in a low mood, it can help to move you to a better feeling state. And even if you are feeling high vibe, you can continue to say these affirmations to ramp up, to power up your vibing level 100%. And it's really important that you say an affirmation that you truly believe. I will leave on with you. Whether you truly believe it or not is entirely up to you. But what I would say is that you are this. You may just need to have some more experiences to believe in it, to back up your belief system. So the affirmation I would like to leave with you today is, I am loving and lovable, because you totally are. And you have it within you to have the ultimate, most beautiful, most diamond-dazzling relationship that you could ever dream of. But remember, that first starts with yourself.
Wow. Teresa, that was just phenomenal. It
Thank
really
you.
was. It really was. And
Glad
listen,
you enjoyed it.
wow, thank you so much. We've got a few questions that have come in.
Oh,
So
lovely.
if you've got some time to hang
I
around a
do
little bit.
indeed.
That's so cool. I
I'm
tell
glad.
you what, the first thing that grabbed me first straight away was this diamond-dazzling relationship. It's like, woo, what's a diamond-dazzling relationship?
Ooh, gosh,
I loved it. Oh, it was awesome. And of course, your diamond-dazzling 3Ds.
Yeah.
So powerful and so useful. And the other thing that I absolutely loved was, what 3 things can I do today to action my values? That's so powerful for everybody. So we've got a few questions that have come in that I've written down. We've got a couple up here first. Let's just come here. I want to go up to the top. So what happens? Okay, what happens when your values differ over time with your partner? What happens when your values differ over time with your partner? I'm guessing that question is like, you might start off with the same values, but actually over time, things change.
And that's completely natural, because over time we are growing and we are evolving as people. And sometimes our values change. Sometimes we think, okay, that's not so important to me anymore, but this one is. So if you find that your values are no longer congruent with your partner, or you're not sharing the same core value, firstly, if it is causing a problem, I would say it's to have a conversation with your partner about it, to understand what has changed. Now, when it comes to relationships, from what I find, communication is so important. There is not enough effective communication in relationships sometimes, and it can cause to major challenges, conflicts, and disagreements. So if this is something that is bothering you, have a conversation with that person to explain, we used to share this commonality. What's changed? And seek to understand. Now, they are on their own journey. Remember, we're all living our own experiences. So there could be a reason for it. And it doesn't mean that the relationship's no longer going to work at all. You may just decide to focus on a different value that you guys share and put your focus and attention into it, because what you focus on, you bring about. If you're going to focus on everything that's not working, then you'll bring about more of that focus. So focus on the things that are working. So thinking to focus on the values that you still do share. Or if it's a completely new value, speak to your partner about it, to your significant other, and say, I absolutely feel this. What's your feelings about it? It's about openness, transparency, and speaking up.
And I guess that's a value in itself, almost, isn't it? Like that openness. With a value of openness and honesty and communication, honest communication, that's almost a value in itself, isn't it? And I guess maybe that's something people could do together as well to develop that, maybe.
Definitely. And it's all about choosing the time to have conversations, because sometimes we can pick the wrong moment. Your partner comes home from work super duper tired, always hungry or hangry, and you want to have a conversation, a really serious, in-depth conversation. Choose your moment, choose the time, choose the environment. Also remember the energy that you're bringing to that conversation as well. If you're feeling tired yourself, probably not the best time to have a conversation. So be very observant and very aware of all of those factors when having a conversation.
I love that. That's awesome. We have another question. And someone has asked, what's the best way to find my values? So how do I find them?
Sometimes the best way to find your values is to find out what you don't like. Now, often, if something has really triggered us, it's because one of our values has been affected. So if somebody has disrespected you and you feel disrespected, then one of your values is respect. If you have been triggered because somebody has shouted at you, perhaps one of your core values is politeness or kindness or softness or gentleness. So sometimes the way to discover what your value is to know what you don't like. Because sometimes you have to know what we don't like to discover what we do like. So it's a bit of a flip. Some people find it much easier to do it that way. But then another way to understand what your value is just, how do you behave to other people? If you give people time, then one of your values is giving others time. If one of your key values is that, I am kind to people, then and that's one of your key values. So also think about your own behavior as well. So what you witness from others, what you don't like, and then also the stuff, the qualities, the attributes, the strengths within yourself, most likely to be one of your values.
I love that. And that actually goes along. You said something towards the end when your 3Ds.
Yes.
Deliberate awareness. So it's that being observant, isn't it?
It is. We are definitely an observer of life. Sometimes not enough, because we don't. There's a power of the now and being present, and we're not often very present when it comes to life, but we do need to practice being more present and more observant. We do live very busy lives. We do. There's so much going on, so much distractions. We're flicking through, scrolling through things on social media. You see a post that has more than 3 paragraphs and you can't be bothered to read it. No, everything is just so much. But we do need to practice just being a little bit more observant about who we are as people.
I love that. I love that. Thank you. We've got some more questions. Well, the next one, it might be a little bit related. They say, how do I know if I've abandoned my values? Because you talked about right at the beginning, it was, I think the title was abandoning your values in the dating, arena, in the dating game. So they've asked, how do I know if I have abandoned my values?
Yeah. So often you will know if you have abandoned your values by the way that you are feeling. Okay. Because if you are feeling off, if something is feeling not right, it's your intuition kicking in. It's your gut instinct kicking in to tell you that something isn't quite right. There's a red flag. Now, if, for example, you are on a dating experience and you're just not liking the way that somebody is speaking about another person, so for example, or is speaking about the environment where you are, they're very condescending, or just very, very pessimistic. And one of your values is kindness, understanding. Something's just not going to be congruent. But if you still persist on dating that person, if you get engaged in conversation and you start sharing or start showing the same behavior as that person, that is a warning to yourself that you've abandoned your value. If all of a sudden you used to be kind, now suddenly you are complaining or you are moaning and you're gossiping about people, what's happened? One of your values is either your values change. It's very unlikely that your value will change to something quite negative. The values are meant to be very important and empowering for you. So that's a bit of a warning, a red flag that something's changed. It doesn't feel right, or your behavior has changed. And that's a clear indication that you have abandoned your values.
Oh, that's so helpful. So helpful. And we've got one last question here. It says, they've said, you said never fall in love with someone's potential, but can't people change over time?
Yes, they certainly can change over time, but you have to be accepting of where they are now, because they may decide not to change. That's not within your control to make somebody change or to force somebody to change. They have to want to feel it within their core, within their vibration, to want to change. So you do run the risk of saying that person could be a better person. They're telling me that they're going to be the greatest person, that they're going to be successful, they're going to be loving when. But are you accepting of how they are now? Because if they never become that person and they never change, then you are still in that situation where you are now. So yes, people do change. Yes, there is potential, but it's important for you to be very accepting of where that person is now. And if they are showing you steps that they are taking to change now, that's fine. It might be an actual behavior that they change, or it could be, I've started to look into something, but don't let that slide. Don't let that be, I've done it today, the next week they've gone off the wagon again. They're not doing it. So you may need to be quite invested in that person and saying, so how's that going, by the way? How's that change you spoke about going? But there is a risk of falling for somebody's potential, but they don't actually live there. Appreciate who that person is now. And if they're not showing up for you now, you have to be very honest and realistic with yourself. That could be your forever situation if you choose for it to be, because the gift is with you.
I love that, Teresa. That is so powerful. Just that last sentence, the gift is with you. You have choice. We have choice, don't we?
We absolutely do.
Yeah, totally. So that is so fabulous. Listen, that's it for the questions. Thank you so much for coming on live on our One Summit. It's been a total pleasure having you here, a complete pleasure. And listen, you have given so much value. to all our audience live. We're on multiple channels, but also we've recorded this as well, so people can come back.
Brilliant. Great. It's been an absolute honor. Thank you, everybody, for your time and attention. And look, if you want to reach out to me and connect with me, you are more than welcome to do so. You can find me on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all as Tarisha Young. Our website, www.tarishayoung.com as well. But also, I am with Univine as a relationship master coach there, so you can connect with me there too.
That's so cool. Thank you so much for that. Okay, so guys, we have the next session's already started. Okay, just stay with us for a second in the studio. The next session's already started with Lee. I'm going to be, I think, jumping on my next one in about half an hour. So we're still jam-packed full of value for you guys, so don't go too far. And Tarisha, thank you so much.
Thank you.